Hi there, Sukie. How are you
Hey,
today?
I'm great. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much for joining the Soulful Tribe. I'm really excited to have you here. I've heard a little bit about you and what your business is about and what your purpose is, and I just really wanted a moment to share that with my readers. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, first off, for people that don't know about you, could you just explain a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what your purpose is?
Yes, absolutely. So I am a certified rolfer. I'm a kettlebell coach. I do a lot of posture and movement therapy. And on a very basic level, I work with people who have physical aches and pains and need to get relief from those physical aches and pains. I also help people with digestive disorders, but primarily people who have a lot of back pain, neck pain, scoliosis, hip pain, iliotibial band syndrome, things like that, who aren't getting relief usually through conventional methods or have been told that there really isn't anything they can do, and they're looking for other options. So I treat a lot of people in my Seattle clinic, and I write a lot of articles for my blog and my website and provide a lot of videos for people so that they can work at home and do stretches and exercises that will help them to get relief and keep their body in functional shape. Really, I focus on keeping people able-bodied. It's fitness from an able-bodied perspective of, not aging and not being broken down as we get older, but really maintaining a functional body that allows us to do the things we love to do in life.
Awesome. I was thinking as you were talking about the fact that I worked out twice this week and I can barely walk up the stairs at this
Uh-huh.
point, and just how my body, as now I'm 43 years old, but it takes a lot more out of me just to do very basic things. And I haven't really paid attention too much to my body. I'm wondering, you're in Seattle, you're based in Seattle and you write a bunch, but I'm wondering if I were to hire you, can I hire you from long distance? How could I incorporate things that you do into my life so that I'm feeling a little less aged?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working a lot on that because I have a lot of people who contact me from around the world, people in various countries, in other cities across the U.S., other continents, and I've garnered a lot of attention because of the articles that I write on my blog and because of the help that I provide for people. And so I do offer coaching to people who are looking for help. There's a lot of strategies that I can give to people by doing a posture and movement analysis via the web. So if people want to submit photos or videos, I can analyze what's going on and I can give you targeted exercises and stretches for those
Wow.
issues. In addition to dietary advice, I think that's a huge piece that's left out in pain relief and anti-aging. Um, you know, Most of the time when you're looking at anti-aging medicine, it is geared towards like Botox or
Yeah.
like looking younger. It's very surface. There's not a lot that's geared towards actually feeling younger and having that vitality and that spark. But there are a lot of foods that you can very easily incorporate in your diet that will help to eliminate pain. They'll make you more flexible. They'll give you more energy. So I do work with people on that level as well. And it's one of the primary things when people come into my office that I talk to them about too is what they're eating.
So it's eating and feeling better about their bodies and moving in a different way so that you're not incorporating more pain, but really releasing that. And I'm wondering where that stemmed from, where the excitement for you came from to go into this field. And was it a personal experience you had or something that happened in your own life that made you interested in this?
It's a great question. There were a lot of things that led me to this work. Initially, I got into rolfing. My business and my practice have expanded quite a lot beyond just rolfing. That is a service that I provide, but it's become almost my own body of work at this point because I just am so curious, and I keep researching. I keep learning things. But when I was younger, I used to try. I rode horses when I was a teenager, and when I went to college, I wasn't able to ride anymore. It's really
Mm.
expensive. I didn't have the time. I was really far away from where my horses were, so I had to give that up to go to school. And I didn't even know what to do with my weekends. Like I just had ridden for so long, I just didn't know what to do. So I needed to make friends and meet people, and I knew that I'm kind of, especially then, I was shy, and I decided, well, I'll join some kind of sport. Then I'll take care of not riding anymore. I'll be active and I'll meet people. It'll be great. But when you haven't played basketball or softball or like any volleyball, any of the mainstream sports for your whole life, you're not going to get into the college team because there's all these tryouts. The only team that really didn't have cuts was crew, rowing. And so I decided to join the rowing team.
Wow.
And the experience was really good. I really learned what I'm made of and what I'm capable of. But on the other end, the coaches were not nurturing and they didn't really bring us along as athletes. It was really more like it was boot camp style training. It was like, if you're not strong enough, you just need to do more work harder, work harder, work harder. And I made it through a full year of that, and I was absolutely broken. I had like tendonitis in my elbow, my hip was hurting, I had a big knot behind my knee. And I just thought that, I mean, I had no idea. I was like 20. So I just thought that was what it was supposed to be like. And I also thought I was a bad athlete because I really kind of sucked at rowing. I was not a good rower. I was the girl that everyone's like, oh no, you don't want that girl in our boat. and I just really thought that it was something you were born with, or, I don't know. I know where it came from. I didn't even think about it. And I met a guy who was a rolfer, and he'd worked with rowers, and he'd worked with equestrians, and he worked on horses, and so we had a lot in common, and he started to work with me. And I was curious about, what he was doing, and I started asking all these questions, and I got massive changes in my body, like digestive issues that I'd had all my life started to clear up. I started to feel way more flexible and pain-free. I started to have better coordination. I was happier. Like, my mental health improved so dramatically as my flexibility improved. And it was like somebody had opened up a whole new world to me, that there just was a different way you could live. And I mean, if you've always felt sort of foggy-headed with poor digestion and inflexible, you have no idea what it's like to not feel like that. And it was so eye-opening and so absolutely transforming that when I finally graduated from college, I was like, well, it's clear that I want to know more about this. So I actually decided to go to school and study rolfing, and that's what launched me into this path.
Interesting. So you actually did have, you were sort of, you had a bottom, so to speak, of your own pains and what was ailing you based on being a part of this rowing team that didn't really encourage you to take care of your body. It was more about athleticism than it was about wholeness or awareness or anything like that. And
right.
And through that process, it really, I would say it was a spiritual transformation in a way, because you got so much more awareness about your body, and that the things that you were holding onto in your body, once you released them, it sounds like you were living a much happier, healthier life in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
and
awesome.
It cascaded into all areas, I mean, and that's something that I really see in my work. Like, a lot of my work on the outside looks very mundane, and like, we're only going so deep, it seems very basic. Like, somebody has back pain, and they come in and we work with them, and we, get their body functioning properly, and we get rid of their back pain. And that seems like a very fundamental concept. But I hear a lot of people, especially on the online space, talking about, living your purpose and living life on purpose and doing what you love and having a life that you love. And I will tell you that when you have back pain or neck pain or some, plantar fasciitis, like, if you're so messed up you can't even walk, you can't even think about what your life purpose is. You can't even think about what you want to do, what life could be like, because you're just trying to make it through the day every day. You're just trying to get through the next hour, the next little section of time. And so it's, it really cages you in when you're stuck with this kind of body condition. And sometimes, if you've always had it, you just don't know what it's like to not have that thorn in your side.
I know what you mean. I actually do suffer from lower back pain. I have a disc that's kind of squishing on another disc or something down there. Mm-hmm. And I was told not to lift up my son, which is impossible. I mean, he's 3 years old now, so he doesn't need it as much. But he would only nap if I was holding him in a carrier on my body. So it was just constant weight on my back. So my focus was on my pain, and I can see what you mean by it being impossible really to have the inspiration to see outside of that, because I was really living to maintain not feeling any worse. So when my husband was around, I was having him as my crutch in a way to take over a lot of the situations where I would have normally picked things up or held on to things or held on to Max, so that I could just be in the world without feeling so much pain. So
right. And your experience, too, is very common, where, the advice that people are given is, well, just avoid the activity that's causing you pain. And in your instance, that's a bonding experience, picking up your son and having him nap with you. That's important. And people have all kinds of experiences like that. Like, if I were told, not to ride horses, or I know a lot of people, if they were told, you can't golf anymore, you can't run anymore. And I see a lot of people come in with that. I just want to get back to doing what I want to do.
Right.
Avoidance really isn't an option for them.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is really great about how we don't have to shift the lifestyle. We have to fix the whatever's holding on, whatever we're holding on to in our bodies. So, and that's what rolfing is, isn't it? I mean, isn't it a more of a release of, I would say, old beliefs and habits too that we might not even understand that we're holding on to there. Besides an injury, there could be other, issues underneath the surface.
Well, yeah, I mean, the mind and the body obviously aren't, it's not a mind-body connection. They're the same thing, right? The mind directs the body. So the body is an extension of whatever's going on in your head. It's a reflection of your thoughts. But it works both ways. So, like, if you have an accident that injures your body, your thoughts will change as a result of that accident and whatever sensations you're feeling in your body. So it's a cycle. So, yeah, you can't touch somebody's body and work with their body without affecting, to some degree, what's going on in their brain and with their beliefs. And for some people, that's a very profound experience, especially if they've been holding on to, tension or anxiety for a long time. That will come up a lot of times for them to deal with. Or sometimes it doesn't necessarily come up in a way as so much as dissipate.
Huh.
And once the cloud of that dissipates, suddenly things are so much clearer. Like if you're not clouded by this chronic anxiety that's just been burning in the background your whole life, you have so many more options. You approach things with less fear, and so life starts to become easier and it becomes more enjoyable because you've let go of that cloud and that fog. It's sort of like if you had a computer running with a program in the background and it was slowing down your computer, and you finally managed to close down that program and your computer gets really fast. It's like, oh, it's so much better, it's so much easier.
I have that experience a lot on my computer. I had to get a new computer because it was old and it felt like it was it was living in the dark ages. I had to birth a new computer. It wasn't working. All the programs were keeping it clogged up, I guess. But I like that analogy a lot. I really understand it, when you say about the program. I definitely have had that experience. And so if somebody is living in Seattle and wants to hire you, you do offer several different things besides rolfing.
Well, I've lumped everything into one service, basically. So when somebody comes to see me, I'm geared towards results with people because whatever I see going on, I'm going to use whatever tricks and tools I have in my bag to work with that person. So, for example, if you wanted to come in and address, your back pain, you wanted to come to my office, I would do this straight up rolfing work with you, but I would also be looking for movement exercises that would be effective that you could take home and work on. Like I said, we talk about food. I probably mentioned some anti-inflammatory foods that you could be eating, and there's a couple of topical things for short-term pain relief. So, it's more complete than just like you come in and you get a bodywork session and then you go home. Like my goal is really to make people self-sufficient because, I don't want them to have to rely on me as a crutch. I want people to be able to take care of their own bodies. That's the ultimate goal. You can't always have somebody there. And it's great to have somebody there when you desperately need them, but really, if you take care of your own body on a daily basis, you'll be much better off. You'll save a lot more money that way. And you'll be, talk about empowerment, right? Like having the tools to take care of yourself without having to call somebody up and go in and make them fix you every time.
Yeah.
That's power.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about trying to, feel the most empowered that I can. And I think you and I were talking earlier about your deeper purpose. And I would love for you to share a little bit about that, because I know that we share some similarities around our purpose or our calling. And I'd really love for you to touch a little bit about that. I'm really interested in what's underneath the surface for you and about being empowered and moving things out of the way so that we can fulfill our higher purpose.
Right. Well, like I said, back, neck pain, shoulder pain, those things can sound very basic and mundane. And I see this talk about, living your purpose, and a lot of people are trying to help people live their purpose. But I feel like we all as human beings are searching for the feeling of being alive more than anything. And we are constantly, we do it through a lot of mediums. Some people do it through art, some people do it through food, some people do it through, adventure, adrenaline stimulating types of experiences. Different people look for it in different ways, but we tend to push the envelope in places that give us sensation and sensory feedback and make us feel alive. And it's any place that we feel caged in our lives. If it's hating your job, a job that's making you feel constricted, if it's physical pain in your body, anything that makes you feel trapped is an area where you're not feeling alive and you're not feeling free. So I really think that the ultimate feeling of being alive is a sense of freedom, the ability to direct your own life, the ability to be in charge, to be calling the shots. And I feel like with your body, it's for me in particular in my journey, it was the first place that I was able to experience a taste of that freedom and a taste of that aliveness when things started to open up and I wasn't caged in my body. And we have this inner space that we need to take care of. And if you're trapped in tight shoulders and tight back, your range of motion, your flexibility is limited, and it is a sort of cage. It's being trapped in your own body. So a lot of my purpose in doing my work is peeling off those layers for people and allowing them to be more themselves, allowing them to be more free. And usually it starts with pain. And pain is always in all areas of your life, pain is always information. It's a message that something is not working for you. And when we take a deeper look at the pain, a lot of times it's related to a habit, and that habit is related to a lifestyle. And so it's not just neck pain. Now we're starting to look at what is the situation that's causing the neck pain. It doesn't necessarily mean everybody needs to quit their job and go move, to a mountaintop or something like that.
That would be a bad thing, I don't think. Maybe we do. I don't know.
Maybe for a little while, right? But I mean, these little shifts, it just starts to wake people up to the areas where they can just have a little bit more freedom and a little bit more control and a little bit more say in what's going on, where they can be more themselves. And that's really what I love about this work, is that at a very practical level, it frees people up to be themselves.
I love that message. Thank you for sharing that. And so if I live in Utah, which I do, I can go to your blog and read about food and nutrition and ways to incorporate those things into my life so that I can live a freer life and reach my fullest potential.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome.
I have an e-course that you can get. It's right on the front page of my website, and it's Secrets for a Flexible and Pain-Free Body. And I highly recommend that people sign up and get that. It's completely free. You'll get it in your email over a course of about a week. You'll also get my newsletter called The Zest, and I provide every week great information that you can use. I love actionable information. Theory is great, but it's only theory, and so we really need to actually make hardcore, changes, not drastic changes, but little changes. So I provide really actionable advice that you can start using in your life every day to just start marching yourself in a different direction. And then I'm also working on some product development as well. So, if people are keeping in touch with me, they will see some really interesting products that they can use at home to, for example, work with your back pain and start to get some relief from Utah or wherever you may be in the world.
That would be me. I'm going to sign up for that too. And I can see how I can get very focused on my job or my mission or whatever and not pay attention to my body. And when I don't pay attention to my body, I notice that I am depleted of energy quite quickly. And so I really appreciate learning more about what you do, and that I don't have to live in Seattle to benefit from what you do, and that you really are about seeking the things that are in the way of us living our fullest potential. I'm all for it. And I love that you really focus on healing in such you called it like a mundane way, but I think it's an essential, it is, and you said essential too, but I think that if we don't take care of our bodies physically, then nothing else really is going to be fruitful. If we're unable to stretch our bodies and move it, it can't take care of us to get our messages out. So
Absolutely.
I think what you're doing is
if you don't have a body, everybody's got a body. If you don't have a body, you're not here. If you don't have a body, you don't have a vehicle for whatever work you're doing in the world.
Right. I think when we're younger, we think that we're invincible. At least I did. And now that I'm getting older, I just realize that I really need to carve out time every day for myself, and that's just as important for business development as anything else.
Absolutely.
If I want to be adventurous in my business, I need to really pay attention to And I do. I'll sit at the computer for hours and I won't get up because I'm so engrossed in the process. It's like a creative process for me, like a painting.
Oh yeah, it's your art. You're creating an art and you're launching it
Right.
into the world. I see this. Musicians have a lot of
Yeah.
pain because they get so wrapped into their instruments and then they're like some of the instruments are not ergonomic, most of them.
Yes.
And so but you get wrapped into your art and then it's like oops, and
Yeah.
then you're sore and then your art becomes like painful because you have this physical pain and it's worsening the pain. So taking time for yourself allows you to be more clear about what you're putting out in the world, allows you to be more creative. Pain or discomfort in your body in any way really causes friction in your mental processes, and so you're going to have less pure of a message coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a wedding photographer for 5 years, and at the end of that, I felt almost resentful going to a wedding because I was carrying like 4 cameras on my body and I was on my feet for at least 8 hours at a time, dragging a camera bag with me. And everything was so in the moment that I didn't really have time to take care of my physical self. I just had to be ready because it was a live event, so I wanted to make sure that I had everything I needed. And at the end of every wedding, I was in so much pain that it wasn't enjoyable. So, for a lot of us who do more physical type work, it's just so essential for us to pay attention. I'm so glad to know you. And for those of you who want to learn more, I'm going to link to her website below so you can find out more information about her. And I'm certainly going to sign up for your Zest. Is it called Zest? The Zest
Called the
newsletter?
Zest, yeah.
I love it.
When
The
you sign up
Zest.
for the e-course on the very front page of my website at SukieBaxter.com, you'll get the weekly newsletter as
Okay.
well. Yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I'm working on some really awesome videos that are I'm so excited. Things that people can do very quickly and easily, but very profound things that you can do
Great.
at home to change your body. That I can't wait to get it out there into the world. So yeah, stay tuned.
Thanks, Sukie. I'm so glad we had a minute to chat, and I look forward to spreading the message about what you're doing. It's really powerful stuff, and I look forward to seeing the videos and everything else that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be here.
Thanks. Take care.
You too.
Bye.